Hola mi gente, welcome back to my channel. I am XO Joe. Today we're going to dive into the world of The Narrows, which was created by Adrienne Young. She recently released her prequel Saint, and so I'm going to talk about the series as a whole, and I'm also going to talk about the author event I attended, but I'll keep all of this spoiler free, don't worry. So like I mentioned, Adrienne Young recently released her prequel to her popular books Fable and Namesake, and I'll get into this prequel a little bit more later in this video. Because these stories are very pirate-esque, I thought we would make a really fun drink I learned to make last Friday. My team had an event where we had a pirate come and show us how to make a really fun drink. I know how that sounds. So I thought we could make this drink together before I dive back into the world of The Narrows. So let's get started. So first we got our lime. Now he told us to also throw the skin in there, so in it goes. Next we're gonna add some simple syrup. Then we're gonna add some almond syrup. Now this is the part where we add some rum, but I'm gonna add in some black tea as substitution like he taught us. Black tea added, and because this is still a pirate themed after all, we will be adding a little bit of orange liquor. Now we're ready to shake with ice. Now that we have our little spiked tea like a good pirate, we can finally get into the world of The Narrows. The first book is called Fable. Fable focuses on a young girl aged 18 who is abandoned on an island named Javal by her own dad at age 14. So now Fable is doing everything possible to survive in Javal, which is very unforgiving, and find some money to get passage back and face Saint for abandoning her on Javal. I have to say the story is really beautiful because the world of The Narrows is described in such a gorgeous, breathtaking way. This book takes you deep diving for gemstones, life on the ship and out at sea. Adrienne Young is so descriptive, and she did confess at the event I went to that she had to research a lot because she doesn't know what it's like to be a pirate or a captain or out at sea, so she really had to dive deep into her research to understand how navigation worked out at sea, how the winds, the sails, the crew members, how that all works to make sure that as a reader we really experienced The Narrows and Javal and life on a ship thoroughly. Fable is very stubborn but very resourceful. She's not expected to survive on Javal even by her. Quite honestly, life on Javal, Saint's an ass. We all quickly dislike Saint because what type of dad just abandons their daughter? By the way she describes him throughout the book and memories she has, he is the top trader of The Narrows, but that also means he's the most ruthless, violent, extreme man in The Narrows. No one likes to mess with Saint. He has a big fleet of boats, a very wide trading system, and everyone knows not to cross him. No one knows Fable is actually his daughter. He never allowed her to call him dad, whether on the ship or off the ship. She was never allowed to call him dad, so she always called him Saint. I have to say Fable and Namesake I loved way more for the world than I did for the characters or character development. The way Adrienne Young had her characters interact in this world was absolutely beautiful. I could see the colors they were talking about, feel those winds, everything she described in the book that had to do with their environment and the ship just felt so real, so beautiful, and it made me enjoy this book so much. I think it's the first time I really understand what it means to love a book's world building more than the plot line and the characters. Though I have to say the characters in here, I do love a lot of them. You just don't see an insane amount of development within them. This book is very pirate-esque, even though it focuses on traders. So they're trading liquor, they're trading silk, they're trading gemstones. I say it feels a little pirate-esque because they do a lot of piratey things like be shady with trades, wreck each other's ship, burn things down, all of that stuff. So following Fable, like I said, we have Namesake. Again, I said this would be spoiler free, but there is a really big event that happens toward the end of Fable, and that's how we get Namesake. Despite Saint being the worst father of the year, he is a really mysterious and interesting character, as most dark characters are, and fans demanded to know Saint's story, including his love story that Fable talks about so much between Saint and her mother, Isolde. I read this book and also listened to it on audiobook. I heard the narrator call her Isolde, but it looks also like Isolde. I think Adrienne Young sent Isolde as well. For the sake of hearing it on the audiobook, I'm just gonna call her Isolde. So Saint is the prequel to Fable, and it focuses on his story of how he came to be and his mega amazing intense love story with Isolde. Now, I have not read the prequel yet because there is a spin-off to Fable and Namesake that focuses on a side character's family. And I like to know the full story, so I'm gonna make sure I finish The Last Legacy first before I start Saint, even though I'm ready to know all the tea. I heard Saint was absolutely spectacular. We do get 2 point of views, and I heard the ending is to die for, so I am so excited to dive into Saint. The Last Legacy is a spin-off story that focuses on one of the side characters. The Roths are very well known on the mainland, and you'll find out why in the first 2 books. Unlike Fable and Namesake, this takes place completely on land, so there's no life really out at sea. Now, Fable was the first book I read by Adrienne Young, and I think her writing is very easy. It flows really well, but she also gives you this very intricate world where you can just see it. I always think it's impressive when an author can really paint a picture for you and a sequence of events that you can just see play out like a movie. And her descriptions of the narrows of the sea, like I've mentioned before, is really beautiful. I really enjoyed the trading system. One of my favorite characters is West, the love interest of Fable. He is also a very morally gray character because he seems like a really good person, but he also does some bad stuff throughout his life. Some people did ask her if she will continue writing stories that take place in the Narrows, just because the characters are really loved and this world is also so interesting. There's so much we still don't know, like the way the merchants work, all the other families there. We don't get the full picture because we are focused on Fable's story and on Saint's story, so we don't get to know everything about this world. And Adrienne Young said she will never close the doors on the Narrows, which basically means anything is possible if we harass her publishers enough. That's exactly how Saint was made. She didn't know if anyone would love Saint the way she did. He does a pretty terrible and unforgivable thing right in the beginning of the book, but people were so interested in Saint that they were kept emailing her publisher. They kept DMing her, asking her to write a story about Saint, and that's how this prequel was born. I had a similar question. There are 2 side characters in Fable named Willa and Coy. I had more questions about them, and I did ask her privately about it when she was signing my book. At the same time, I also asked her about West, because although he is a violent and morally gray character, I absolutely love him. I'm a sucker for that "who touched you, I'm gonna kill them" trope, but I absolutely loved West, so I had to ask her, will you ever make a West story? And I was really happy to hear her say that she would absolutely love to make a story about West. What type of story, you may ask? She told me that once you finish reading Saint, you will understand the exact type of story she will write about West. We're just gonna have to wait and see for Adrienne Young to announce more stories that take place in the Narrows. It was a really fun read. I had so much fun at Adrienne Young's event. She was so sweet. She really took her time with every single reader, which I absolutely love when authors do that. Of course, I got her to sign my books, but she added a little heart to every single signature, which I thought was really cute. I tried making this video spoiler free, hence why it's a little shorter, so you can give it a try. Definitely recommend this series. That's it for me. I had fun doing a quick little drink with you guys and then talked about this story while sipping on it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!